So these are the updated point standings after 5 rounds in the championship, and where ultimately Gilles Panizzi now takes over the points lead after Marcus Gronholm retired last time out in Cyprus, and Richard Burns also moves up to joint third with me, as we are now both tied with 19 points. Tommy Mäkinen moves up to 5th as a result of him finishing 2nd last time out in Cyprus, and officially we have now got 14 drivers on the board, as the other 7 are still yet to score. And in the constructors, while Peugeot currently has a 20-point lead over Ford, Subaru has 23, then we have to go down to 4th, then we have to go a bit further back to find Mitsubishi in 4th, who have 12, Citroën has 5, Skoda 2, Hyundai still has no points, but I imagine they will no doubt be scoring points at some point in the next few rounds. And if you noticed, I have turned down both the music and sound effects. I will do that now just in case, because I want to hear the voice of my co-driver. So I figured I would just do that. Okay, let's now head over to round 6 in Argentina.
Swap Europe for the only World Rally Championship round in South America. The Rally of Argentina is based high up in the Andes around the town of Cordoba. The rally covers a whole range of different types of roads, from twisty mountain passes high up in the Andes to fast, open tracks out in the Pampas. This hugely popular event draws massive crowds who will come to enjoy the spectacle that's Rally Argentina.
I am also strongly ready to just forget about what took place in Cyprus, because, well, in Cyprus, I was practically so far behind everyone else that it was honestly the equivalent of me being trapped in a minefield. Like, basically, every step I took was just going to result in me basically just getting my body blown to bits. And hopefully this time around that will not be the same case, as we are now in Argentina. So for this, I'm going to go with the shortest possible gears, soft brakes, mid-tier suspension, because I know these roads are not going to be too hard. Oh wait, I have a setup change. I have a setup saved, don't I? Yes, I do. Slow power steering, medium tyres, lowest possible ride height, mostly toe out, central suspension, soft brakes, and short gears. Hopefully this is a setup that will work in terms of getting me back into the points. Have you ever felt like you've been tortured by a video game?
3, 2, 1, 50, or jump into
Damn it!
right 4.
Now I've missed the launch.
150 opens into straight.
Well, I know that's not going to help me out.
100 right 3.
And it's also
left
defected
2,
back to my
150,
default
caution
queue.
over bridge into hairpin right.
It's honestly not too
100
surprising to
hairpin
me.
left, don't cut, and left 3 into right 3.
So what I've learned from this is the bump. So what I have learned from this is the bumper view does not help me in any way. And the other thing that does not help me in any way is the fact that I have to do a triad of stages before I can actually save the game, regardless of how somehow good or unbelievably bad these stages have gone. I still have to do 3 stages before I can physically save the game. And I feel like at this point, it's not just a case of trial and error. It's a case of basically just testing how much patience I really have mentally. And I think compared to most people, I actually do have enough patience to really try and see if I can somehow put my brain into a blender and literally just do whatever it takes to basically take as much power into it as I possibly can. Before it feels like it just slots me into the meat grinder. Yeah, winning the super special, it makes no difference. It still makes this absolute torture to somehow get through. These are the results, blah blah blah. Yeah, I think at this point, I'm definitely going to need some sheer goddamned luck if I am even going to have a shot at winning this. It would honestly just be so much easier if this game could literally save after every single stage, and then I wouldn't have to keep enduring the same madness over and over again. Just in terms of trying to see if I really have enough mental guile to just go into each of these stages and somehow make it through almost unscathed. But I know that's not how this works, because I can guarantee I'm going to have scars of some sort, because that's just what these rallies do. They practically are designed to leave you with at least a few marks. But the other thing that's really been testing me mentally is knowing just how hard it is to get through these first 3 stages before focusing on the rest of the rally. That's just how stymied this game really feels. And it's not really much of a case of me trying my best to not choke it away. It's more of a case of me trying to see how long I can go in each of these stages without having a nose first impact into a wall or whatever. It's almost like I'm basically just trying to imagine what I would rather be, shot in the heart or shot in the leg. Because I feel like both of them are painful, but it's honestly hard to know which sort of pain I would really live with. Although I suppose when you think about it, being shot in the leg is probably something that keeps you alive, because, well, if you're shot in the heart, then well, you're basically dead. Because the heart is one of the vital organs of the human body. Something which, yes, I do know as being common knowledge. I almost misjudged where the term was. I really hope in the second day the visibility is going to be improved, because I feel like for this first stage there's almost been hardly any visibility at all. Even though I was able to see the super special fine, I feel like this one, with the amount of mountain fog there is, which I am pretty sure that's what this is. It's honestly hard to tell for sure if I can actually survive this.
70, right, 6, 1, 2, left, 4, 70, long, right, 3,
without having something atrocious pop up in between.
left, 6, into, right, 1, 70, right, 5, over crest, 100, right, 3, into, left, 2, 100, caution, water splash, 30, left, 3,
But
into,
at
right,
this time,
2, over crest, 100, right,
I wait to see what happens next.
100, right, 5, caution, outside.
But again, this would just be so much easier if I could save this game after every single stage. That option at the least. Or if I was playing this on an emulator, I would be able to do that. But because I'm playing this on the PS2 itself, it definitely feels like the Expert Championship has given me plenty of headaches, to say the least, because of what I have been fighting up to this point. I'm wondering if I really feel like I can do this.
70 left 5 caution inside 70 very long right 3 into left 5
But at this time, it's hard to say for sure,
100 left 4 1 2
unless I
right,
can
3,
really manage to successfully
left,
stay out of
4,
trouble.
caution inside 30 opens into long left 3
And that's going to
70,
be
caution,
one of the
long
biggest
hairpin
questions I
right,
have to
70
ask
over
myself.
crest into left,
Can I
5,
actually stay out of trouble
100
long
through,
enough
water splash,
to really
100 left
set up the run I need?
70 right 6 caution outside 50 left 2
That's honestly the
70
biggest
left,
question I
6,
have right
1,
now.
2, right 5 100 left 6 don't cut 50 right 5
I'm not
don't
cutting
cut
that corner
50
again.
long left 2 into right 5 100 right
Oh,
4
no,
1 2
no,
left
okay.
5 caution inside 100 long right 2 tightens
Okay, I made it through,
70 long
Somehow.
left 4
without that
70
being any
right,
worse.
5 don't cut and finish
Okay, come on. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Okay, there it is. Okay, better than before. P9. Well, that's better than where I was before. Well, at least I can say my two teammates are currently doing well. So I finished P9 in the end of stage 2. And we've had our second retirement. It's the other Skoda of Tony Gardemeister. Well, 2 Skodas out, is what I should say. Although compared to where I was before, I've only been relegated to P5. And considering my 2 teammates at the moment are doing pretty well, that's actually not bad going. And Gronholm at the moment is currently 13th. So he is not having a good rally here in Argentina so far. And now here we go with the rain stage. The one thing to basically make it even worse than the fog is basically fog combined with rain,
1
which means my visibility is going to be reduced even more.
150 long left 3
And it's probably going to be harder for me to tell
150 left
where exactly my car is positioned.
70 over crest into right 5 50 left 2 into right 3 50 caution
Okay.
rocks inside 50 left 5 caution rocks
Okay.
outside 70 caution left 6
See how we
into
go.
long right 4 70 very long left
on.
3 100
Okay,
over
stay out of the
crest
wall,
and over
thankfully.
crest into right 2
Just need to make sure I do that for pretty much the rest of the stage.
Into right 6, 100 over crest into right 5
Okay.
and left 4. 70
Okay.
straight over crest. 70 right
Okay.
4 over crest. Caution rocks 30 hairpin left. Don't
Yeah,
cut,
I feel like the
50
far
right,
chase
3,
view at this
caution
point is
bends inside,
probably my
70
best.
over crest.
when it comes to these sorts of stages, where, you know, the visibility is poor, or pretty poor I should say. This is probably the best view to use for that sort of thing, from what I can see, because you can actually navigate your way through the corners. Which at this point, I'm strongly convinced in saying is better than the other option. Until that happened, of course. Okay, how far behind is that? P18. Well, I probably had it coming either way, because I don't think I was going particularly fast. I was basically tiptoeing my way through here. That's kind of what I'm still doing, because I only just have the visibility to see where I'm going. Plus we're not exactly in the sort of territory where we can actually see where we're going. So if you really want to know how I feel, well, that's basically it. That's basically how I feel, in essence. Okay. Alright. Very long right 2 into very long left 3. Also, this stage is a lot, because we've nearly driven for 3 minutes now and we're not even past sector 2 yet. Oh god, yep, I knew that was going to happen. I figured there was going to be a rock sooner or later that would stop me. Left 5 into right 6, caution, rocks 30, left 6, don't cut 50, caution, right 2. How far behind is this going to drop me? 30, right 5 onto left. I know I'm going to be dropped, but by how much? That's the question I have. How much am I going to be dropped down by? Yep. Well, if I'm going to have a terrible stage, I might as well have it here. And maybe for the rest of the day, I might just recover. As long as this rally does not kill me any further. Because I feel like that's precisely what it's doing right now. It's doing everything in its power to kill me. And I feel like there's almost nothing I can do about it. I really do hope the other stages are going to go better than this one, because they have to. If I am going to come away with points here, then that basically needs to happen. I need to make sure that I come away with points here, somehow. Somehow, some way, I need to come away with points. Because right now, when I can barely see anything, or just about see where I'm going, this is probably a point in the championship where I really need to make sure I can rebound. Well, either here or in Greece. Either one of those will pretty much be my best shot to rebound. Because right now, I can't drive for shit. Because right now, compared to the AI, I can hardly drive for shit. That's honestly just how far off the pace I am. Or how far off I feel like I am. Well, at least we're halfway through the stage. And once we're done with this one, we can actually save the game.
70, left 2 over crest and straight 100, caution
Okay,
left 2
and
into
brakes.
right 6, 70, left 5,
Really got to
opens.
keep this one smooth.
100,
if possible.
left 5, don't cut.
Don't want to go
100,
too
caution,
deep.
hairpin left, don't cut.
Okay.
Into right 6 over crest.
Okay.
100, right 3
Let's see
over
what
crest.
we can do.
50 over crest into left 3 and right 4, 100 over crest into left 5, don't cut, 70, right 4, caution
Come on,
outside,
stay on the road,
70,
stay on the road,
caution
stay on the
fence
road, stay on the
outside,
road, stay on the road,
30,
stay on the road,
left
stay on the
6
road.
into right 4, 70 over
Please stay on the
crest
road.
into right 5, 100 left 3,
It's pretty much all I ask at this point. I need to somehow stay on the road.
Over crest. 100 left,
If I can
6,
do it
don't
somehow.
cut and straight. 100 right 5 opens into right 3, 30 caution fence, 50 left 2, 100 right 2,
Okay,
100 right 3 and straight.
I don't hit
70
either side of the
caution
fence.
over crest into right 5,
Okay,
30
I move up a
left
few
5,
spots
don't
briefly.
cut. 50 left 2,
Since I've now run wide of that
into
corner, I'm
left
probably going to
30
drop
right
those spots
4,
again.
12 long hairpin left, don't
Here's
cut,
what me
100
thinks.
right 2 into left 1 over
Unless
crest,
I am
70
really
caution
starting to
long
make
right
progress.
4 over crest, 70 left 2 into left 4 into
That
left
was
5,
almost a disaster.
100 right 5 into left 4, 100 caution right 4
Come on,
into hairpin
okay.
left, 100 right 4.
Okay, let's keep this going.
50 right 4 caution
Okay,
inside,
and
100
yep,
left
okay.
5 onto right 2, 150 left 4 over
Okay.
crest, 100 right 4
And
caution
on the
box
brakes for this
outside,
corner.
70 left 4
Come
onto
on,
straight,
okay.
don't cut, 100 long right 3,
Okay. Alright,
70 very long hairpin left, don't cut, 100 long hairpin right caution fence outside, 100
Okay.
left 6 into long right 4 over crest,
okay.
100 left 2 into
I think my
right
pace is
3,
improving, but I don't know by how
70
much.
straight over crest, 50 caution fence outside left 4
Steady,
don't cut, rocks
okay.
inside 30 straight over crest,
Really gotta keep
30
it steady
right
here.
4 into left 1 caution outside 50
much
left
longer?
6 into right 4 over crest.
Damn it. That is just so fucking easy to do.
Right 6 and straight and finish.
I was deeply hoping that would not happen, but it somehow did, either way. You know what? That's better than where I started. Another stage that was actually going pretty well, until suddenly, right at the end, when I thought for sure I almost had it, was just one corner that caught me out, and then I was dead. That's basically what it was. So Petter Solberg wins the stage, and Robert Craster finished inside the top 3 in the Skoda. Not bad. And we've had another retirement, Alistair McRae in the Mitsubishi. Sucks to suck, I guess. P10. Okay, only 10 seconds back to P6. And also P5. So Petter Solberg now leads the rally ahead of my teammate Marco Martin. Marcus Grönholm is up to 3rd, with Toshihiro Arai 4th, Tommy Mackinnon 5th, and Richard Burns in P6. Meanwhile, I am currently P10, and I have got a 10-second gap to overcome, even though I am 42.69 seconds behind. Nice. And going to save part 1. P10 is a better position to be in than the other one, and it is still raining. Day 2 is upon us here in Rally Argentina of the Expert Championship. And heading into today, I have decided that I am no longer going to be using manual gears because I think whenever I crash, it just takes too long for me to really find reverse and then just get my car moving again. So from this day forth, for the rest of the championship, I'm using automatic. We've got 2 rainy stages, and we've also got a cloudy stage as well. And heading into day 2, of course it is a separate day of recording as well from the first day. I needed to come into this with a strategy, and I am hopeful in saying that this time around I have managed to give myself the right strategy. A strategy that is at least right enough for me to stay in the top 10. I think I was 7th heading into this portion of the rally, so hopefully we've got everything we need. I did do some practice on the day 2 stages so I could get more of an understanding, and hopefully now, as the game does that, we can actually do this properly. Hi there, Jordan from the future here, and basically at the time of recording this editing voiceover, I have quite surprisingly finished the Expert Championship. And the one thing that actually surprised me even more, aside from me having pretty much the insane consistency compared to the AI for most of these rallies, it is also the fact that I also managed to achieve that consistency whilst also eventually scoring 10 podiums in the process. And yes, eventually I would manage to get some wins on the board as well, which obviously helped. But either way, I was pretty much just playing the points game for pretty much the first 4 rounds, and then basically once we stumbled onto Cyprus and Argentina, these were probably the only 2 rallies where I actually didn't score points. And I decided, because my stage 3 time was pretty slow, and I was also just pretty much having to basically just fuck about with the shifters way too much, basically just doing all the fucking upshifting and downshifting all the time, and basically just having to downshift all the way to the bottom just to get reverse gear. I decided that following that stage 3 performance I had, even though the night stage was probably just as bad, maybe even worse than my stage 3 performance, I needed to switch over to the automatic transmission because I needed to get reverse as soon as I stepped on the brakes, basically. Because with automatic transmission, as soon as you put on the brakes, you basically get reverse gear, and you're basically able to more or less wheel your car out of whatever wall or tree or bank or rock or whatever it is that you ran into before. This was more or less a case where I knew something had to be done if I was going to be competitive enough to win, especially for the latter half of the championship, because until we got to Acropolis, I was honestly feeling pretty anxious about my chances of really pulling it off. But I also had this little squint of confidence that did actually say to me that if Acropolis is won, then basically my championship from there will more or less be set alight, and I will more or less be there to pretty much open the floodgates for the rest of the championship by just continuing to score. And I think with me continuing to score, it also means that it will give me a better shot of leading the point standings. And oddly enough, consistency compared to the AI was one thing I did not struggle with, because I had a lot of consistency compared to the AI, who I can confidently say, even at the best of times, they are woefully inconsistent. But I can assure you that even if you do manage to clinch the Expert Championship, basically with a rally or two in hand before the finale, I can assure you the biggest feeling I felt, aside from triumph, it was probably relief. Because it was honestly just so fucking hard to get through those first 6 rallies the way I did. It was honestly almost like I was basically just trying to sweep up whatever points I could get, and basically just trying to make sure that I continued scoring those points. And naturally, of course, I didn't necessarily finish every rally on the podium during that second half bounce back, but one thing I will say is that basically from Greece onwards, I pretty much managed to score in basically the remaining 8 rallies. And as a result of me just continuing to score, that was eventually what certified me as the Expert Champion. And also giving, ironically, Carlos Sainz of all people, aside from him being a 2-time WRC champion himself driving the Toyota Celica, he did also have his championship robbed of him when his Toyota Corolla engine from the 1998 championship basically expired only feet from the end of Rally Great Britain in '98. So basically, with my career mode structure of this game, I basically gave Carlos redemption as a result of that 98 title bid heartbreak that still is considered by many today as being probably the WRC's most gut-wrenching moment, and it's easy to see why. So, in all honesty, I would say the daytime stages for day 2, once I switched over to the auto, I thought they went okay, but then once we got to the night stage, I knew that was just basically just going to be a total slap in the face. It was just an absolute bitch, especially at the end when I did everything in my power to somehow try and stay out of the walls as much as I possibly could. Inevitably, there was going to be one point where the physics of the game just decided I was not leaving day 2 unscathed. And as you'll find out soon enough, that was precisely what eventually happened. I can't really say it's something that I intentionally want to happen, but it definitely felt like, for a while with this, that there were definitely certain points where something was definitely up. Whether it was a case of the game having some sort of grudge against me, or if it was just a case of the physics basically wanting to punish me for swimming with the sharks, or whatever it was I said before. It definitely felt punishing, and it was honestly more punishing in some cases than it needed to be. So, if you're wanting to just have fun with this game, then I probably don't recommend you do the Expert Championship, because, well, if you're looking for a challenge, then sure, go ahead, but if you're not looking for a challenge, then please don't try it. You might regret it mentally if you're not able to hold yourself together, and also if you're not able to consistently score points the way that I was. Even though I will say there were definitely some gut-wrenching moments that did happen a few times. before I actually did manage to come away with winning results. But aside from that, of course, well, everything else with this rally, it basically just stayed as it was. And oddly enough, I did manage to get a finish inside the top 10, which, even though it's not a point scoring result with this 2002 points structure thing, I will gladly accept a top 10, because finishing inside the top 10 is infinitely better than finishing way at the back, the way that I was in Cyprus. And that was basically the reason for me speeding up the final stage in Cyprus, because, well, the run itself, it was just straight up unwatchable. And I think I also incurred a total of 8 penalties, which equated to a 40-second time penalty. But you know what? I was honestly just so humiliated because of that I decided it was easier to just speed it up, because in all honesty, it's better to just accept your L's when you know you have to, and then afterwards you can basically just work on your strategy to fight again another day. I know some people don't always take this approach, but personally, there was actually one line from the Aerosmith song Dream On that basically says, "I know it's everybody's sin, you've got to lose to know how to win." And I feel like at this point that's probably one line that has stuck out pretty well with me, even though I'm not making any more Aerosmith references because I might need to pay for those, and I'm not prepared to pay for any licensing under those types of contracts. But either way, aside from that, of course, there are just times where you basically have to accept your losses, and I think with these 2 rounds in particular, once I basically realised that I was not really going anywhere in terms of points overall, the AI weren't really going too far from me either, because they were basically just scoring points here or there, but they weren't really throwing up any serious challenges to really make me concerned about what was coming next. Because, in all honesty, I figured if I could win at least one rally by the halfway point, then it would actually put me in a stronger position, confidence-wise, to really just go through the rest of it and somehow find a way to win the rest. But either way, I still absolutely suck at most of these night stages, and I am honestly hoping that if it is possible for basically any future rally games I play that has night stages, I'm really wanting there to actually be improved visibility in some cases. I will say the visibility was slightly improved with the night stages, but I still didn't feel like they were improved quite enough to the point where it was really as visible as what I, or probably numerous other people, would have necessarily wanted it to be. But either way, there are definitely some things about newer rally games that I think are better than the older games. And it's not just the restart stage mechanism, or basically the whole 3-second resets then being switched over to instant resets, or optional resets as it would be in, I think, both WRCs 3 and 4. But aside from that, yeah, you are definitely going to encounter a difficult phase when you do this. But if you feel like you're using one of the top 3 cars, or basically any cars, for the Expert Championship. It is possible to win the Expert Championship pretty much using any car you want. And yes, even the Skoda Octavia can find a way to win in the Expert Championship. I know this because there is actually someone I know who has actually proven that's possible. So you can basically use any car you want that's available to you in the 7-car roster for pretty much the Expert Championship. I think it's also possible to technically win it using the Hyundai as well if you really wanted to. So yes, whilst it may seem impossible to really give yourself a winning run in one of the opening rallies at first, it is actually possible if you can build up your consistency in the second half and show that you can, in essence, persevere through the adversity, then you basically can win the Expert Championship driving any car that's available to you. But, of course, I figured because I had already driven 2 of the slowest rally cars I could effectively drive in the 2 previous championships, that was why I wound up choosing the Ford Focus, because, well, I figured I wanted to, and also because, well, basically it would ultimately make it easier for me to decide on which vehicles I should use for pretty much the next 2 to 3, maybe even 4 championships. Well, 4 championship difficulties that we have in WRC3. And the extreme vehicles that we do unlock from certain rallies in this game, those will become a critical part of the progression in the next game and also the game after that. So, you know those extreme models that we win? Well, they will play a more integral part of the overall progression in the next game, because essentially the extremeness that is supposedly in this game basically in some cases continues on with the extreme model homologations that we get in both WRC3 and WRC4. In other words, there was pretty much no saving me in Cyprus. It was basically just a case of me just choosing to accept the L and just move on to Argentina, where I was honestly just hoping to finish higher than where I finished before. Because had I not done that spurt of confidence I was needing to really get through the upcoming rally in Acropolis the way I did. And, of course, I figured because it was one of those rallies that generally does favour the player over the AI, that was more or less where I knew I was going to no doubt hit my marks with some good stage times. So good luck if you want to try the Expert Championship, and hopefully you can manage to win the same way I did by scoring as many points as you can. Anyway, that's going to do it for this, and now back to the video. Yeah, I don't think we're scoring points here anymore, because that one night stage and the fact that the game honestly just has so much animosity towards me right now. With both this rally and the Cyprus rally, it's basically trying to make it so I've got some big, dumb, stupid cosmic debt to pay, that it's honestly just making this almost inhospitable to drive. Almost. and I feel like there's nothing I can do to fight back, as much as I am desperately trying to. Well, at least I'm not going to finish last. And I think at this point, I might as well accept it. That's the only way this psychopathic madness and torture is going to stop. Now we move on to day 3. At least we're in drier weather now. Yeah, I really am starting to think that this rally in general just hates me. Okay, that's good. And also checking to see I have automatic gears, because, well, I know that on my other saved files, it'll just switch me back to manual. So, heavy wear in the areas I expected. I don't fucking know how the rest of these stages are gonna go, but I am definitely not scoring points. Because stage 6 would not allow me to just get one decent run. For that, it just seems completely impossible.
3, 2, 1, left 2, 100 left, 1 into right 3, over crest, 100 left, 4 into right.
The only thing I really feel like that's going to help me out is the fact that we've got the super special at the end.
70 right 6 into
And that basically means that the final stage will be half the size of what most final stages are in this game, at the least.
70 right 3 into left 2, 100 right 2 into left 1, 150 right 2 into left 1, 100 hairpin left, 100 long hairpin right, 150 left.
And now you just have to watch me basically blow away the rest of this rally. Or the rest of the stage.
100 left 2,
Since that's probably what's going to happen.
100 right 6 into left 6.
Because this game, with basically this rally and the previous rally, is just taking no prisoners and just putting all of us, and basically just giving all of us the death penalty.
Long hairpin left, caution outside. 100 into right 4.
With no chance of
70 right 5.
respite or anything.
70 left 2. 100 caution over jump into right 4 and left 4 over crest. 100
I am so glad I
right
braked the way I did there.
100 caution over
Because that would have
crest
been
into right 3.
a lot worse than what it actually was.
Over crest into left 3. 100 caution over
Shit.
jump into left 1.
At least it rolled me back on my wheels again.
150 left 3 into right 2. 100 right 3 into left 1. 70 caution.
Well,
narrows,
there goes
30
the stage
right
lead
2
entirely.
into left 1 and right 1. 70 left
Because once
2
again,
into
I was
right
in a
1,
spot I
70
tried to get
left
out of,
5, 30
and yet the
right
game
2
disallowed
into
me from
left
getting
1,
out of that
caution
spot,
jump, 70 caution over jump
as
into
it
left
has basically
3,
been
50
doing
right
so
2
for this
into left 3,
whole rally and the
50
previous
right 1,
rally.
into right 3, 30
Basically
left
making
3,
it so
50 right 2
everything that
into
can
left
go wrong
5, 50 right 4, 70 left 2,
in a rally
over crest into long
essentially
right
does
4,
go wrong.
100 left 3,
And at this point, I am honestly sick of
100
it.
through water splash into right 3, 150
I honestly just want to finish the rally and move
into
on.
right 6,
That's all I want to do
left
now.
4 into right 2,
And hoping
left
for much
1,
better things in Greece. If they're even there.
150 right 1 into
Like at
left
this point,
3
that's all I
and
really
right
want.
2,
Just
50
anything
left 6 and right 5,
to stop
50
me
right
from
3
just getting
into
shaken
left
up
6 and right 5,
and just rattled
100 hairpin left, don't cut.
to my bones.
100 long right 3 into long straight. 50 right 1, caution, fence inside, 50 left 4 into right 3.
I know scoring
100
points is
clear
not going to
through
happen
water
anymore,
splash into
because I'm
left 2
basically
and
too far
right
behind for
5,
that.
100 left 6.
But I might just be able to finish inside the top
70
10,
right 6.
because
50
again,
left,
it's only
3
the
into
top
right
6
2,
at this
finish.
time that score points. Okay, that's better. That's a much better time than what I was expecting. I am honestly amazed to say I actually finished third by the end of that one. And Marco Martin finished P9. You know what? We only have 2 stages to go, so... Yeah, I'm definitely not scoring points. But at least Marcus is only scoring 1 point, because the AI are wildly inconsistent when it comes to the championship in this game. But at least I can say Ford are putting up a challenge. And now we are doing the forward Cosquin course. It's probably taking me less than 3 hours to get here at this point, just to get through the other 6 stages in Argentina.
100 straight. 70
That could have been worse than what it actually was.
100 long right 2 tightens. 100 into left 1 over crest. 100 left 3 into right 2. 100
I'm definitely
long right,
looking
3
forward
into
to the
right
next
4.
game
150
once I have finished with this
long
one,
left,
because,
6 into very long right 3 over crest.
well, there will definitely be noticeable improvements
100
in
left,
WRC3. I should know that because I have actually done a full playthrough of
70
WRC3,
right 5 into long left
and also
5.
because in general,
100
I think the game is a
right
lot of
5.
fun. And I like it a
100
lot.
left 2. 70 right 5 and straight into left 3. 100 left
Because
2
they will
and
make
right
considerable
4 into
improvements
left 3. 150
in that game.
right 3 into left 4.
That will basically make it better than this one.
100 right
Although
5
this one is a
opens
definite
over
improvement
crest
over the
into
first
right
one, it's
2.
just
150
certain
long
parts of
left
the
3
game,
into straight.
they just really rattle you to your
100 long
bones.
right 6.
And you basically just have to cope with those. Even when you don't want to, you just have to cope with them, no matter what the cost is. There was nothing I could do there. I really, really, really tried to avoid it, but the game decided no, and just got me caught up in it. I really feel like there are moments where the game just gets me caught up in my own trip-ups, ones that I am not even responsible for, and yet it just decides that for one reason or another it just puts me into these forced errors, some of which I know I cannot be responsible for. Yeah, that 9th stage, it costed me heavily in terms of the points I lost. I think the best I could have asked for from this rally was probably 6th, but I now know that's not going to be the case anymore, because of that one 9th stage that basically just decided it wanted to rattle me basically until my brain was bleeding. In other words, it was just wanting to give me internal bleeding. And just leave me there. As soon as I found that out, I basically knew my only option for the rest of this stage was to just try, or for the rest of this rally I should say, was to somehow try and get as much damage limitation as possible. Something that at this point
100
feels
left, 3
completely
and
impossible.
right, 3 over crest.
Because the rally is going to keep
50
doing
left,
this
2 into left, 3 and
until I
right,
somehow
2,
manage to finish it
100
with
hairpin
whatever the
right,
fuck I finish it with.
30 left, 3.
It's not going to be in the
50
points, I know
left,
that's for
5
goddamn
into
sure.
Right, 3, 100 left, 5 into right, 6.
But it's definitely going to be
100
above
left, 6
last.
into right, 4.
If I can get through this stage without
100
losing
left,
too much
6
time,
into
then I'll
right, 5,
definitely
gear rocks
be well
outside.
above last.
100
I will be
long
well
left,
above dead
3
last.
caution inside.
I know that for
100
definite.
right, 4 tightens over crest. 100 left, 5
I am
over crest.
deeply hoping that Greece gives
100
me
right,
something
6
better than
into
this.
left, 4 and right, 4. 100 long
Because
left, 5
I not only
into
want
long
that
right,
to be the
4.
turnaround point for this championship, but I need it to be the turnaround point. Because I've got 3 Peugeot drivers ahead of me, and yet the only thing that's really helping me is the fact that the AI are just consistently inconsistent. And that's the only thing that I think is really helping me above everything else. Like, they are just woefully inconsistent compared to what dominant drivers would be in championships. There was nothing I could do about that rock. Nothing at all. I was on the brakes as well, and there was nothing I could do about it. Well, at least I'm out of last. That's one thing. But yeah, basically, it's just going to be a case of me getting through this and just saying, let's get the fuck out of here. Because I think the game has honestly just punished me so goddamn much at this point that I'm convinced in saying it's not going to be on my side. Before we get to Athens, Acropolis, by the way, basically is in Athens, which is the capital of Greece. Something that I would imagine most of you probably know. Because I know that most people in the world are not completely gullible and stupid.
70 right, 4 into long left, 6 tightens, care outside, 150 right,
And sometimes I wonder if that's what I consider myself to be, gullible and stupid.
100 left, 6. 70 right, 3 and left, 2, 150 right, 4 into left.
But at this point, I just want the stage to end. I just want it to be over so then I can move on to wherever the next one is. Oh, I gained a few spots again. In spite of everything that has gone wrong in this stage. Could I actually gain some time back again? I would be grateful if I really could get some time back again. Compared to everything else that has just tried to basically rattle me to my bones. And then once I'm finished with this stage, I only have to focus on the final stage, which is the super special again.
30 right, 4 into left, 3 over crest, 50 left, 4 tightens over crest, into right, 130
Damn
left,
it.
2 into very long right.
Well, at least I was off the
over crest,
throttle when I hit the Armco.
150
That's
left,
one thing that
5
probably
over
helps me.
crest, caution outside, into right, 6.
There was nothing I could do about that.
70 right, 5 onto left.
God, how many more corners do I have left?
100 left, 5 over crest, onto left, 5, 70 right, 4 opens,
How many more fucking corners are there?
70 right, 4, 70 left, 3 tightens over crest and finish.
God, that felt like a mouthful and a half. Okay, P9. Probably the best I can ask for at this point. You know what? I'm just gonna say fuck it and accept whatever losses I have. And Marco Martin wins the stage again. That's very cool. And Gronholm didn't even finish in the top 10. He finished P16 in the stage. That's really nice. And that means he's dropped out of the points now, so that makes it even better. For me. And also for Ford. Because Peugeot will only walk away with 2 points, and Ford could be walking away with potentially 13 points. And so here we go for the Super Special here in Argentina. And hey, I see one of the Subarus. That's cool.
3, 2, 1, go. 70, right, 3 into left, 2, over
Let's see how we do.
100, caution.
I don't think I'm going to win, of course, but I think at this point, because Gronholm is now out of the points, that does help me out. That does help me out to the point where it's not going to be one of my main rivals scoring points. Although Richard Burns will get some points, I think he'll only get 2 points compared to Ford's 13 points, which means this will be a significant boost for the championship overall, if things stay the way they are now. I'm strongly convinced in saying that might just be the case. And I'm in the rocks, so that means that was for nothing.
150, right, 3 into left.
I knew something like that was going to happen. I was honestly just waiting for it. To basically just tell the game, for the game just basically telling me, oh, you haven't choked yet? Here you go, choke now. And then it basically just forces me to choke. Like, it's honestly that sort of choke that just makes me feel like it's not something I should be responsible for. And yet the choke is still blamed on me anyway, for whatever reason. Because it thinks I have not suffered enough. Even though I can clearly tell that I have suffered enough.
150, right, 3 into left, 2 over crest.
Also really sucks to say that I cannot restart the stage and try a better time. Yeah, 15th. Martin, P8, and Petter Solberg won the stage in the end. Also got 2 Skodas and 1 Hyundai in the top 6. Not bad. Okay, P9. You know what? That is a much better result than very dead last, like I had before. Also, yeah, 2 Fords on the podium. Let's go! 14 points for Ford and only 2 points for Peugeot. In some cases, that might just boost my confidence. And also 1 point for Mitsubishi. So basically, Ford gets 14 points, Subaru gets 9 points, Peugeot gets 2, and Mitsubishi gets 1. I'm also pretty sure Skoda gets some points as well because they finished in the top 10. And 4 retirements, 1 Citroen, 2 Skodas, and the other Mitsubishi of Alistair McRae. I wasn't speaking for most of that rally because I had a feeling there was going to be deception involved during the midway part of the rally, and I just needed to concentrate in getting in those good stage times. So once again, I score no points, but on the bright side, Ford does manage to get 14 points, which means that the gap at the top of the Constructors' Championship... Wait, how many points did they score in the end? Oh, they only scored 10 points. Peugeot 5, Subaru 8, and Mitsubishi 3. I'm actually surprised to say Skoda didn't get any points from that. That actually baffles me a little bit. But you know what? Whatever. So I'm now dropped down to P4 officially. Points are still points. It's still very close at the top of the standings, because the AI are consistently inconsistent, and no further drivers have made it onto the scoreboard yet. Peugeot now has only a 15-point lead in the championship. 6 of 7 teams are on the board, and next up will be Acropolis. Still have no idea how the manufacturer points work in this game. It's really weird. But anyway, we've made it through Argentina, and now we must make it through Greece. Stay tuned.